Shalom, Israel. It's your boy New Breed coming through with another live stream. As you enter this live stream, make sure you hit the thumbs up. I'm going to allow YouTube to send those notifications out. Monica by Israel. How's it going? Devontae Sims. J Money 16. Jay Rollins. What's good with y'all? CC, Adrian Brooks. I'm glad y'all catching this live. In this particular stream here, y'all, we are really going to gear our focus towards what's important in this life. Because our life is like a mist. 1 minute we here, the next minute we not. And it comes to great importance that we focus on being vigilant. First Peter 5:8 reads, "Be sober, be vigilant, because the enemy is like a roaring lion seeking who he may devour." That adversary is seeking souls to devour. Now, in this particular video, I really want to talk about all of the young people that we're losing to violence. I want to talk about this music industry. I want to talk about what's going on in our everyday lives, what to look out for. This topic is definitely going to be multi-layered and multifaceted. There's a lot of talking points. There's a lot of thoughts that I have regarding news that I heard earlier of the death of Pop Smoke. And I'm going to touch upon that as well, because I'm the type of person that always like to find a lesson that we should learn from a person's life. What's the takeaway? What do we learn moving forward? And those are the type of things that I find it important to build on, especially in a generation that has to face such adversity. Here it is when it comes to hip hop. You got these young brothers who are just trying to make a living, make something of themselves, using the talents that they have. And although some of the things that they talk about in this music, they may not even be doing these things, but they understand that speaking about certain things, like killing your own brothers and sisters, destroying your community, they realize that speaking on those things will allow you a seat at the table. Speaking of those things will allow you to have the finer things that you've always wanted, especially these youngins coming from nothing but poverty. So they speak on it. They rap about it. They create an image for themselves. They make something of themselves. And still you got ravenous wolves. Ravenous wolves looking to destroy what another man had built. Rapper Pop Smoke. It's a sad case. It's a sad case. New York rapper Pop Smoke was murdered Wednesday morning. For those who don't know, the rapper's from New York. He was actually in Los Angeles, in the Hollywood Hills, staying in an Airbnb. He was sent gift bags. He was sent gift bags that he was showing off online. And unfortunately, the tag had the address. The tag had the address. Later on, he was robbed I believe the news says it was 4 people who surrounded the house. They actually deadbolted the locks. They murdered the young man after robbing him. Now, we got to first and foremost understand that there are wolves out there. I know that when we get things, we like to show off what we got. We live in a culture where people are covetous. People want what you got, and people don't want to see you with it. I need y'all to realize how serious these times are. There are people out here who are hungry, envious, want everything you got. They look at you as food. And when the poor ain't got nothing else to eat, they're going to go eat the rich. When the poor ain't got nothing else to eat, they're going to eat the rich. So when we get material possessions, we often want to floss these things. We want to show off what we earned. Because we're proud of what we earn. You know, you work hard for things. You want to show them haters what you came from. But those little young wolves, the way this robbery was conducted, it had to be some older dudes that did it. But it was the young wolves that was on Snapchat watching Pop Smoke show off his new gear. And they went to the OGs. And they say, hey, look, he's online slipping. Be sober and vigilant, because your adversary is a roaring lion seeking who he may devour. So although you're just showing off your possessions, there's enemies, there's serpents, there's roaring lions, there's wolves. And they're always lurking. They're always lurking. You living in 2020. The devil is so busy. Think about this, y'all. We done seen enough events in 2020 that could have happened in a whole year. Satan is busy collecting souls. And I feel for this young brother. And the reason I feel for him is because he was so young. Because he was so young. 20 years old. Think about it. Your brain is not even fully developed until you're 25. 20 years old. This situation makes me recollect. It makes me think back when I first started to rap. When I first started to rap, I make good music now, righteous music. This was not always the case. At one point in time, I wrote violent lyrics out of anger, out of the poverty, out of what I was seeing. When I used to write these lyrics, I used to create energy around me. And I still had lyrics that were righteous. I can make a song that was righteous and then turn around and make a song that was totally against the Most High. It was all about death and killing. I never forget it. My grandmother walked in the room one time. She found one of my rhyme books. My grandmother seen that I had a talent, and she told me, you know, some of these lyrics that you got, they're from God. They're from the Most High. But these other lyrics, if they're not coming from God, then they got to be coming from somewhere else. At a very young age, that comment that she made, it resonated. It resonated. See, to all you up and coming artists, you young brothers and sisters who rap, you got to understand when you make these songs, and I believe Pop Smoke just had a track with Travis Scott, and they were talking about robbing, killing even. When you make these type of songs, you create an energy around yourself. You create an energy around yourself. Although you're just trying to make it. You're just trying to make something of yourself. And the industry only allows you to promote violence against your own people for you to make it. You just want to get out of the public homes. You just want to get out of the hood. You just want to become something great. Leave a legacy. I understand that. But as innocent as that is, the words that you're saying are casting spells. The words that you're saying, other young brothers and sisters are riding around to your music. They're riding around to your music and they're robbing. They're stealing. They're killing. And this is all a part of a curse. This is all a part of a curse. And I feel for the young brother and his family. Y'all got to understand, this young man had aunts, uncles, parents. He probably had nieces and nephews. Homies on the streets that he was getting out of the streets. Mouths that he was feeding. But guess what? Satan is collecting. Because if you are promoting any type of lyrics, that promote violence, that promote debauchery, drug dealing, then you're creating an energy around yourself. Life and death lay in the power of your tongue. Life and death lay in the power of your tongue. And I'm going to deliver this truth. Because regardless of how people feel within their emotions about all the death and carnage that we're seeing, we should be learning from what we're seeing. We should be learning from the life of these people. Maya Moons, glad to see you in here. Words are very powerful. Words added to the bass. When you add these words to bass and drums, you create motion within a person. Action. That's what you create. And the only thing we're doing is fulfilling a curse that was given to our forefathers for not being obedient to the Most High God. And you're creating vibrations. Hosea chapter 4 verse 2. Hear ye the words of the Lord, O children of Israel. The adversaries with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth. There's no mercy. No knowledge. Nor no knowledge of God in this land. See, there's no truth. All it is controversy. The Most High has controversy with us. By swearing, lying, and killing, and stealing, and committing adultery. Blood toucheth blood. By stealing, killing, lying, committing adultery. Blood toucheth blood. That's a curse. That means your people are killing your people. Your people are killing your people because of a curse. The Most High have a controversy with us. And that verse in Hosea chapter 4, verse 2, that's black on black crime right there. Because we don't want to turn from our ways. Instead, we want to promote swearing, lying, killing, stealing. When you promote, literally promote and project swearing, lying, killing, stealing, bloodshed, that's the energy you create on yourself, and you then become an enemy to the Most High. You then become an enemy to the Most High. He has a controversy with you. Swearing is blasphemy. It's being blasphemous. All right? That's what swearing is. Someone says, what is swearing? Swearing is being blasphemous. I remember a few years back when XX Temptation was killed. I came off very harsh about how this young man was conducting himself while he was living. I came off very harsh about it, and that video actually went viral. It was about, I think it was 3 years ago. I'm not sure when it was, but I think it was 3 years ago. And honestly, y'all, it was out of sheer passion. It was out of sheer passion because I'm seeing these young brothers destroyed, killed. But at the same time, there's a side that we tend not to understand or we tend to disregard. A lot of these people, while they're living, they're serving Satan publicly, promoting the 666, promoting the beasts, promoting devil worship. It has to come a time where we cut the emotions on certain things and look at this from a logical standpoint. So in this video, I'm going to tell you people the truth, regardless if you're ready to hear it or not. But we're not going to deal with the emotions. We're going to deal with the truth. So, when you're living your life and you're promoting swearing, lying, killing, stealing, you create a controversy with you and the Most High, because that's not what He has ordained for us. Judgment is coming to this earth. 2/3 of our people are going to be cut off. That's all emotions to the side. Nobody's going to tell you straight up like I'm telling you right now. Everybody else is going to get caught up in mourning. And that's fine. And that's no disrespect to the brother or his family or any other young soldier that then lost their life. Because to an extent, I can relate because I once rapped the same way. Saved by Grace, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. I once rapped the same way, so there is a place in my heart that feel for them. Because what if the Most High would have chose to take me out while I was in my early teens, early 20s? What if He chose to take me out before I can wake up? I want y'all to see that nowadays, right? The rappers are going younger, younger, and younger. The mortality rate It continues to rise for everybody involved in entertainment. The mortality rate is absolutely astonishing. So I do have a place for my heart for them, but I have to examine these people's lives in order to stop another person from going through the same judgment. Because that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's judgment. The Most High has say so over life and death. We cannot continue to be those ones at the funeral. All you aunties, uncles, we can't continue to be the ones at the funeral talking about how much of a good boy your cousins, your nephews, your sons were. When you know damn well that they was robbing dice games. You know damn well that they promoted wickedness. You know damn well that they beat women. You know damn well that they were rapists. You know damn well that they were drug dealers. You know damn well they were destroying the block. The Most High is not playing. Instead of us getting in our emotions, and I can surely understand that the families can even attest to these things. The families can attest to the fact that we don't want to see others going out the same way. We don't want to see others continuing to be outlined in a chalk. Anybody involved in these families where they have lost a loved one, they know in the back of their mind where their loved one went wrong. It's just like that mother that's constantly worried about her son. Every time he leaves, she's constantly worried. Constantly saying to herself, I hope nothing happened to my baby. I hope my baby don't die in these streets. Guess what? Those words, that fear that comes out of that mother's mouth, it creates energy. That's how real your words are. So a woman saying, hey, I'm afraid my son is going to die in these streets. Son, I'm afraid that one day you're not going to come home. Your fear, along with your words, you create a reality. That's how powerful your words are. You say things that create energy. How many rappers are speaking life? How many rappers are speaking life into existence? How many rappers within the last 2 years, that rapped about nothing but death or dying themselves or committing suicide, died abruptly? They're casting spells on themselves. They're casting spells on the public. People are robbing, stealing, and killing to these people's music. And I feel for these young brothers, although they play their position, they play a role in helping the adversary snatch up souls. They play a role. And I still feel for a young brother who's lost it, because I respect ambition. I respect ambition. I respect the fact that a man gets up, he really creates his reality by going hard and putting in hard work. Because you can say what you want about all of these people who make it in prominent positions. All these people didn't make it in prominent positions by selling their soul. Some people made it in prominent positions by hard work. Hard work, dedication, drive, and focus. And the hunger to want more for themselves. To get out of the streets. This young man, Pop Smoke, made one mistake. He was showing off his belongings He was showing off what he got. On Snapchat, the address was still on the tag. And you know what happened? Brothers got to scheming, plotting. That's what happened. And they snatched that young brother off these streets. Go back and listen to Pop Smoke's music. Was he speaking life? Maya Moon, thank you. Proverbs 18 and 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and that they love it, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. See, you judge a person off their fruits, and that's what the Most High does. You can only be judged off your fruits. If the fruits that you produce is rotten fruit, poison, bitter to the taste, repugnant. If the fruit that you produce out of your vineyard is sour and dead and rotten, then that's the energy that you're going to create around yourself. It's important to speak life. It's important to rap about righteousness. They say that Lucifer was the head angel over music in heaven. See, Satan was one of the most beautiful angels. There were pipes, chimes, and instruments in the being of his vessel. It was in his body. He was called the son of the morning, highly revered. When he was tossed out of heaven, angels fell with him. Times that we're living in, he's given dominion over this world. Only for a time period. A very short time period at that. But it seems that brothers and sisters can't make it without compromising their souls, without compromising their morals and ethics. See, people can rise up and then eventually they hit a ceiling. They can rise up and eventually they hit a ceiling. And once they hit that ceiling, one or two things happen. They lose it all. They fall back. They play the cut. Or their lives are violently taken from them. And you see this as a pattern. One thing you do not want is a deal with the devil. Because this enemy is always going to come to collect. I know that you're hungry. I know that you're ambitious. I know what it's like. I'm here to tell you, the fire that's in you is misdirected. The energy you have is misdirected. I'm a firm believer. I'm a firm believer that the youth, the youngest on the come up, the brothers that's out there on that block, the brothers that's out there on that street, I'm a firm believer that they just are misdirected. And that same passion they have should be the passion to fuel a real revolution. See, ladies and gentlemen, back in the civil rights movement, there were teenagers that were spearheading the civil rights movement. I'm talking about your yummy Sanderfoots. I'm talking about there was people 18, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22. They were the voice of the civil rights movement. Why? Because they had the hunger. They had that fire in them. They were the ones protesting. They were the ones riding up in those buses, going into rural towns deep down south. They were the ones riding into deep, I'm talking about the Confederate states, where the Klan is waiting outside. The youth were the ones who had the fire and a passion to move this thing forward. But Satan, what did he do? He seen the fire. He seen the fire in the youth. So what he did was, he did what he always do. He stole them. And that's all it takes for you to lack wisdom. Hosea chapter 4 verse 6 says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. See, who knows if Pop Smoke even lived the lyrics that he rapped? Who knows if Pop Smoke lived the lyrics that he rapped? It didn't matter if he lived them or not, because he created an energy. Who knows if he lived them, but guess what? There are people who listen to his music who are influenced by it. There are people who listen to it who really live that life, and they move like that. They move like wolves. They move like lions. And all the brother was doing was just showing what he just got. He made it out of the hood. He got something out of his life. He made something of himself. At 20 years old, that has to be commendable. Although I believe that a lot of these rappers who make it young, they operating on the left-hand side. But it has to be commendable that a man made something of himself. Everybody don't see it that way. You got some wolves out here who are just jealous. And who knows, it may even come out that it's an inside job. That's how these things normally happen. It's always the ones closest to you. Maya's Moon says, that's why they are destroying our youth now. We are in extreme time of awakening, and Satan trying to trap as many as he can. Don't want the truth to be seen, but the light of wisdom cannot be hid. Absolutely. Satan running out of time. He's running out of time. And there's more people waking up, so judgment is coming quicker. We got to do better. We got to put our foot down, and we got to teach our youngins on the come up what it is. Don't let these words cast a spell on you. Don't let those lyrics create your reality. Understand that we are held accountable and responsible for every single word that comes from our mouths. We are held accountable and responsible. Everything that proceeds out our mouths, we're going to have to deal with that on the day of judgment. If we're leading people down that dark path, down that dark road, even if it's just music, that plays a big part. Music creates energy. Let me explain how much energy this music creates. In the 60s and 70s, all you heard was baby blooming music. All you heard was baby blooming music, right? More babies were being born. Now all you hear is, ain't nothing to cut that girl off. It ain't nothing to this. Treat that hoe like that. Treat that bee like this. And guess what now? Toys R Us went out of business. Toys R Us went out of business because nobody's procreating. Everybody is using each other, abusing each other. There's no more love. Why? The music. It's the music. want to take 5 minutes for Q&A. I want to take 5 minutes for Q&A. I always try to get some questions and answers done because it's hard to respond to a lot of emails, and I try my best to respond in the comment board. If we can get 5 questions out, that'll be dope. Something y'all want to know. Barry Russell, thank you for the donation, family. I appreciate it. Let's see. I see a question. Delilah Patrice says, New Breed, do you think there is another order we should be reading? The books of the Bible? And do you really think that the events books occur in the order that the KJV has them listed? I believe that you should get an old King James Version. The old King James Version has the Apocrypha. It has it all. But there's also extra biblical literature out there as well. There's a lot of debates and arguments about what's canonical and non-canonical. I don't want to get into those various details, but I would tell you to pray, ask the Most High to reveal which books are good for you. But I can recommend, I read the book of Enoch. I read the 12 Patriarchs. I pretty much read any book that aligns with Scripture. Even books that's sold in a Christian bookstore, as long as I can eat the meat and spit out the bones. So you always got to decipher information when it's given. Maya Moons, that's a great question. Why aren't the female artists who are destroying our women not being judged as the men are? That's an excellent question. It's because the men are in a leadership position. They are literally supposed to be the warriors for the Most High God. So these men are created a controversy because they're supposed to be soldiers with this misdirected energy they have. And the Most High, he's upset about that. He chose them to lead the women as well. See, the women only follow what men do. If you look at it, when it comes to hip hop, there was a time period in hip hop where misogyny was at an all-time high. You had the Snoop Dogg Doggy Style album. You had Too Short coming out. You had Uncle Luke coming out. And they were just treating women like bottom-feeding trash. And now you're living in the age of Aquarius, where the woman and the divine feminine is being lifted up. And so really the women are only on get back mode. The men started this. They started this madness. So the Most High is going to judge the men. And that's what's happening. That was an excellent question. Let's see. Somebody says, who's your spiritual mentor? I do not have a spiritual mentor. The Most High, through Christ, is my spiritual mentor. But there are plenty of brothers and sisters that I have learned from. I drew inspiration from. I soaked up knowledge like a sponge from various people. But I have no spiritual mentor other than Christ himself. We got 2 more questions. Y'all comments are coming so quick, I'm trying to catch up. That's interesting. Maya says, because Megan Thee Stallion is an Aquarius according to astrology. That's interesting. That is very interesting. New Breed, what can you say to those people who say you are an agent paid by the Masada? I don't even know what the Masada is. I don't know what the Masada is, and I really don't care what people think. Honestly. New Breed, are you a con artist? Has New Breed ever sold you anything that you did not receive? Has New Breed ever took up donations to start any type of organization or anything and kept your money and ran away with it? Has New Breed ever stolen from you? Ever? Man, some of these questions are crazy. Maya Moon, you got a wrench too. Get him out of here. These people asking these weird questions, yeah, go ahead and remove them, block them, whatever you got to do. Oh, I got some moderators for y'all now. What animal meat is unsafe to eat besides pork and ocean scavengers? Thank you for the donation, Luke. Um, I personally eat I personally eat any meat that the Bible is it condones. So I would recommend that you read the book of Leviticus and see what the dietary laws are. Okay, read the dietary laws. Let's see, you got any more questions? I'm gonna get one more. Yep, Leviticus and Deuteronomy. Read those. When are you going to be on Inside the Nation? You mean when am I going back to Inside the Nation? Um, hopefully pretty soon. Hopefully pretty soon. If y'all want me to go back on Inside the Nation again soon, hit the thumbs up on this video. If y'all want to see another show of Inside the Nation, I can hit up a buyer and we can make it happen ASAP. Let's see. Let's see if we can get these likes up in here. If y'all really want Inside the Nation, I want to see if we can get 300 likes. I'm gonna call a buyer. I'm gonna call a buyer and we gonna work out a date. That's 300 likes we gotta get. Don't cost you nothing. Michael said that interview was awesome. That's what's up, family. That's encouraging. How about Enigma Files? Paul Mignon, I'm going to get on the Enigma Files. I've been working on it. Y'all don't understand how much editing it goes into the Enigma Files. And then with the time period that they give me, it's just not enough a lot of the times. But as long as you all can go over there and subscribe to the Enigma Files and make sure that my watch time hours go up, make sure that you're subscribed. The more people that subscribe, the quicker you'll get material. Somebody says, New Breed, what's your opinion on Baal? Baal is Satan, Lucifer. Baal is who a lot of these people are sacrificing their children to. Speaking of the Dwayne Wade situation, there's more than one way to sacrifice. There's more than one way to sacrifice. I mean, we seeing these celebrities sacrifice their children left and right by emasculating them or doing what they call gender swapping. You see Will Smith and Jada and they kids. You name the boy Jaden and you name the girl Willow. They name after the opposite sex. And then they make sure they carry on those same traditions or those characteristics rather. We at 241 on the likes, man. Y'all want Inside the Nation, y'all got to get them to 300. Ain't nothing but clicking that thumbs up. If we get them up to 300, I'm going to hit a buy up like, hey, man, we need to do another show. And I'm going to give y'all 5 minutes to do it. And I'm going to answer questions at the same time. What topics will you discuss? You mean on Inside the Nation? Oh, I want to keep that a surprise. New Breed, why are there gang stalkers here? Gang stalkers are here to try you like go through a furnace. Gang stalkers are here to change your life for the better. They are here to test your resolve. They are here to make you stronger. That's why gang stalkers are here. Man, it's a lot of people want to see Inside the Nation. Abaya, if you watching this, you see what's going on. You see what's going on, brother. Somebody said, what is Inside the Nation? If you're not subscribed to Inside the Nation, put Inside the Nation radio in your search box. Go over there and subscribe. Oh, you wanted to know what's the next topic on the Enigma Files? I'm going to tell you it's going to be artificial intelligence. The next show on the Enigma Files is going to be artificial intelligence. All right? That's what we're going to talk about. Somebody says, no, I'm not answering no questions about no other YouTuber, no camp, no nothing, no church, no person, no nothing, no none of that. Somebody says, how do you feel about changing the frequency on music and using it to lead souls to the Most High? Now, what do you mean by changing the frequency? I don't know if you're talking about the literal sound frequency or changing the vibrations. 432 K8. I got to research that. I've been seeing people talking about that. I'm not really sure what that is, but I'm going to look that up. How do you hear from the Most High? You read his word. We at 289. That's 11 more likes. And I'm going to call Abaya up. And you got 3 minutes left. We're going to stop at the 50 minute mark. So let's see if I can get another question out. Let's see what we got. We need the Enigma Files. When will you post new material? Saturday. I'm going to post a video on Saturday during the day. And then Saturday night, I'm going to do a live stream. Somebody says you got the 300. No, it's at 294. We at 294. What's your viewpoint on marriage license? That's a good question. I don't believe in marriage license. The Most High said, when I bring together, let no man separate. You don't have to say vows to the government and allow them in your corporation in order to be considered married in God's eyes. Y'all got to remember, back in slavery days, they used to just jump over a broom. It's the actual consummation that makes someone married. Once you actually put that documentation together on paper that you're married, you just allow the government in your organization. And anybody who studies business and economics, you can get a real understanding on what the marriage certificate is about. And we got 307 in here, so I'm definitely going to have to hit up Abaya. And I'm going to have to talk to him about putting together another show by people's demand. That's right, Danielle Grant. No paperwork necessary. I mean, you can have a nice little gathering, and you can rent out a nice little spot. You can get married between you, that woman. If you want to have an ordained preacher, whatever, then that's cool. But the paperwork is unnecessary. That's all I'm saying. But man, this live stream, hopefully it was fruitful and edifying. I'd like to thank y'all for coming in and showing y'all support. And we're gonna definitely build later on. You can look forward to more material coming soon. I'd like to thank y'all for watching. With that being said, shalom and peace.